Can you walk us through what you felt your world was going to be? Like, is this a
Oh,
thing where you like, I got to be a civilian again? I gotta like, what's the journey of dealing with it? And then what was the journey in picking up the pieces and starting all over again from scratch?
oh my gosh. I think when I first had the idea that I wanted to be part of Roc-A-Fella, I thought it was gonna I thought I that light bulb went off in my head one night. I was back at home. I wasn't doing too good. Um and I was staying over at my sister's for a while. And I remember I think BT was on late night and they were showing like some hip hop videos. And I was like, I want to be signed to Roc-A-Fella Records. It was that light bulb that went off. Like, I don't think they have any like girl singers
Right.
that, that's kind of got a little hip hop, kind of thing going on. And I just manifested that. And then it happened. I was working with Kenny Burns. He introduced me to Damon Dash and they loved me over there. They were like, we got you. Don't worry about it. And then I started working on music and the music was great. I made all these great relationships. And I get home, I'll go back to Virginia and I read on the internet that Roc-A-Fella is splitting up. And I'm like, I felt shattered. I was like, here we go again. I'm just like, what is happening with my luck? And I just wasn't feeling what they wanted to continue to do. I was cool with Damon Dash and we were like, he was like, I got something else I want to do with you. And I just felt like down. I was just like, I'm back at home again and I don't know where to pick up the pieces from. But I do know I kept my relationships with Damon Dash and he would call me maybe a few years later and say, I got another situation for you. And this was the Black Keys situation, which opened up a whole nother
Yeah, I
door
was
for
going to say,
me.
how did that even come to be?
Damon Dash called me. And like I said, I'm
When
glad
he was
I
doing
just,
that
yeah,
project,
yeah, he was doing
so you were
yeah,
part of the
I was
Black
part of
Rock
the
or
Black
whatever.
Rock. I was the girl singer
Okay.
that was doing
That's
all of the
you.
sing. That's me. Yeah. And
I had no clue. Okay.
the Black Keys asked me to come to Muscle Shoals, Alabama to work on the Brothers album. And then that's where the thought of this soul thing that was always living in me, it just woke up. It just woke right on up. And I was like, this is what I want to do.
What was it like to be in the studio, the same studio that I believe Aretha Franklin created her landmark Never Loved a Man the Way I Loved You,
Mm, mm.
Respect, and all those classic songs. Like Muscle Shoals is probably
Haunted.
legendary.
It is legendary. It is. It had its moments. It felt a little creepy, but you can feel the vibe of the. They left. I mean, everything is still the way it is. They have the old pictures. They have Etta
Yeah.
James. They have Aretha. They have, I think, Sonny and Cher even recorded
Yeah.
there, and it's giving this ghost there for sure.
Fun fact that not many people know. Um, George Michael wrote Careless Whisper
Mm-hmm.
in 1982. And right before Wham becomes an idea,
Mm.
I believe that Jerry Wexler of Aretha Franklin's producer
Mm-hmm.
decided to fly George over to America to record some demos, and the original Careless Whisper was recorded in Muscle Shoals studio, um, as a totally different song, like different than the small
Right.
saxophone thing that we know.
Right.
But yeah, he not many people know that that's like one of the that's where kind of where Careless Whisper was born. But the Dap King cult
Right.
of Brooklyn, were you how familiar were you with those guys as far as their vintage sound was concerned? And
I had no idea about Dap Tones, Dap King, Sharon Jones, Lee Fields, Charles Bradley. When I heard Charles Bradley and Sharon Jones for the first time, I thought that they were artists of yesteryear. I was like, who is this? And this song is hitting me. It's bringing
right,
out all these emotions. It was like, no, he's alive and he just recorded this. I was like, get out of here.
who put you onto it?
One of the girls that was hanging out with Damon Dash,
Okay,
she put me on because I think Dan from Black Keys had put her on because they were huge fans of Lee Fields. And it's so crazy because it's parallel because I met Leon Michaels, who produced Lee Fields, and
Yeah.
I didn't know Leon when I was working with the Black Keys. So it's kind of parallel. And I'm just like, I think it was all meant to be. It was all manifested in itself. And they are still working together today. And we all like know each other. We all work together. And it's just like, I don't know. It's just so crazy that when I first heard Lee Fields, and then I met him, and then Leon asked me to come if I would come and work and write on his album Faithful Man. I was just like, nobody has ever asked me to write. Everybody always, when I was coming up, like, you need writers, you need help. And he let me do my thing. And I take my head off to him because I think initially Michael Blue Williams, who managed Outkast, once told me the best advice that I ever could have gotten in my career was like, Nicole, what you need to do is get a pen and get some paper and start writing. And I was like, what does that mean? What does that look like for me? And when I think about it now, I just look around and observe everything, my feelings, my emotions, my family, my friends out of my window. Whatever I see, I put it on paper, and it was my heart and my emotions. And I think that's what kind of saved my career is becoming a songwriter.
Discuss like what was it like, at least the beginning of presenting this live presentation, like the Soulful Live thing.
Wow.
Like how did
I think presenting the Soulful Live show was something new for me because I had been singing for many years, and I didn't really perform as much as I felt like I should as an artist. I kind of was always like put in the background somehow. I'm like, why am I all the way back here? I would always ask myself. I would see other artists doing a lot of things and performing and all over the place, and I was always this girl that was eager to just get and do the music and not always be in the studio. I would write a lot of music, but a lot of that music would never see the light of day. I have a lot of music that it's somewhere in a laptop, somewhere on a DAT, somewhere, or it's just lyrics in a notebook. So when it was time for me to do a live show, like I said, I get really nervous, and because it starts first with the writing, and you got to write these songs that are transparent. And I felt like I've been doing that for the past 5 years. Is this writing stuff that people want to hear because I'm actually a living proof and that's living these things, right? And so when you get the ticket sales and you get there, you get the outfit, you get the rehearsal, and then you get out there on that stage, and it's like, and I'm overwhelmed because like I said, I have never really experienced it until now. The love that people have for me as an artist, and they're singing they're not singing, they know Make It Hot, but they're singing songs after Make It Hot was made. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm a blessed artist to not be still singing the same tune as I see some artists that I came up with, they're still singing the same songs. And I don't know if me being such a creative person, I don't know. I gotta do something new always. I gotta have something fresh. And to see these, even when I go overseas, and it's like hitting me that I'm in another country. I'm not singing Make It Hot. I'm singing maybe Guilty. And these people are yelling these lyrics back at me. And I'm overwhelmed because I wasn't the artist that was getting the love and the platform that I should have been getting many years ago to perform at places and to do shows. I was always kind of like in the background. So it makes me feel great.
Do you now present your pre your second act? Like your the Make It Hot album, like do any of those songs ever find their way back in the set list, sort of refiltered in?
Oh yeah, we do like a mashup. We do like a sort of a mashup of
Nice.
the 90s. I let people know I'm about to take you on a journey from the 90s, and they get so excited because they know what that means. Because you have some people that are there that has no idea that I'm Nicole Wray.
Nicole Wray.
And they're trying to like connect the dots, like is that her, or I don't know. And then when I'm starting singing, I see people kind of like confused, and they're like, oh my, that is her. So it's always like it always makes me smile and laugh that I have my older fans and I have new fans that they know I'm Lady Wray, but then when they find out I'm Nicole Wray, it's a whole nother like
got it
thing happening.
So with Cover Girl, And kind of each record has a theme to it. I know with Queen Alone, like that's you just finding yourself and finding your voice.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you're using your pen also to address family members and whatnot.
Yeah.
And as you move on to records, like you speak of motherhood and what your
Mm-hmm.
life is. What would you say that Cover Girl represents in terms of where you are now today?
I think Cover Girl is that little girl that was so eager and bright-eyed, ready for the business, ready for the music business, without getting my heart broken, and just brave, right? That I felt like I was so brave before any of all of this, and I wanted to bring that spirit back into the music and my church roots, and how I preach about, self-care and taking care of yourself. And I think how that's how Cover Girl was born. Like, I'm like, I need to get back to where I was, because Piece of Me was so serious. I was pregnant with my daughter. I was about 7 months pregnant with her when I was working on that album, and I didn't know what I was gonna do, but she gave me everything that I needed to give for that album. And I felt like I'm raising a young child. I'm a new mom. And I think now with Cover Girl, she's here. My daughter, she's 7. She's my inspiration. She is the light of my life. She's given me all the courage and everything that I need. And that little girl that lived inside of me is her. And so I wanted to kind of just pay homage back to that and get back to that free vibe, being brave, not caring about anything, and just looking right at myself and saying, this is who I am.